Namaskar. While we were deliberating on national education policy in Akhil Bharatiya Shiksha Samagam, yesterday we received a very shocking and saddening news of assassination of the former Prime Minister of Japan, Mr. Shinzo Abe. He was a great friend of India. Shinzo Abe was the longest serving Prime Minister of Japan and a well-known world leader. He contributed immensely to the economic development of Japan. It was often known as Abenomics. He was the chief architect of the quadrilateral security dialogue, popularly known as Quad. He was a great supporter of India for an inclusive Indo-Pacific. Mr. Abe is a well-known, popular leader in India. He contributed immensely to strengthen the bilateral relations between Japan and India in different domains: defense, security, economic and commercial cooperation, skill development, and educational exchange. This great conventional hall, Rudraksh, was conceptualized by our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, and Mr. Shinzo Abe. This was developed with the grant in aid provided by the Japan International Cooperation Agency. Mr. Abe was still remembered for performing Aarti on the banks of Ma Ganga in India. That shows his deep-rooted connection with Indian civilization and Indian culture. India has lost a great friend with the loss of Mr. Abe. He was a Padma Vibhushan awardee. In November 2015, he was given honorary doctorate in international relations by Jawaharlal Nehru University. We join the rest of India in paying our tributes to a great leader, a great statesman, and a true friend of India. May I now request the Honorable Governor to come to the stage and pay tributes to Mr. Abe. I also request Sri Dharmendra Pradhan ji, Dr. Sarkar ji, and Annapurna Devi ji may please come to the stage and pay tributes to Mr. Abe. I now request all of you to please observe 1 minute silence. Om Shanti. You may kindly be seated. We will be starting our technical session now. I request the chairperson and the panelists to please come to the stage.
– 2030 तक भारत विश्व में युवा कर्मियों की सबसे अधिक आबादी वाला राष्ट्र होने जा रहा है।
अखिल भारतीय शिक्षा समागम के तृतीय दिवस के नवे सत्र में आप सबका स्वागत।
को मेन स्ट्रीम शिक्षा से जोड़ने की व्यवस्था की गई है। साथ ही यूनिवर्सिटीज में इंटर्नशिप एम्बेडेड पाठ्यक्रम शुरू किए गए हैं। गति शक्ति के तहत हजारों युवाओं को प्रशिक्षित किया जा रहा है और संस्थानों में स्किल हब सेंटर्स खोले जा रहे हैं। ऐसे बहुत से प्रयास चल रहे हैं छात्रों की एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी बढ़ाने के लिए। अब आगे इन प्रयासों को एक देशव्यापी आंदोलन कैसे बनाया जाए, इस बात पर चर्चा होगी शिक्षा समागम के इस सत्र में।
अखिल भारतीय शिक्षा समागम के तृतीय दिवस के नवे सत्र का आरंभ करते हैं। सत्र का विषय है स्किल डेवलपमेंट एंड एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी। सत्र के अध्यक्ष डॉक्टर के सत्यनारायण, डायरेक्टर इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी तिरुपति, डॉक्टर NS कलसी, चेयरपर्सन NCVET, प्रोफेसर MP पूनिया, वाइस चेयरमैन AICTE न्यू दिल्ली, प्रोफेसर राज नेहरू, वाइस चांसलर विश्वकर्मा स्किल डेवलपमेंट यूनिवर्सिटी हरियाणा, प्रोफेसर प्रेम कुमार करला, डायरेक्टर दयालबाग यूनिवर्सिटी आगरा। सर से चेयरमैन सर से अनुरोध है कि इस सत्र का आरंभ।
Namaskar. Good morning, everyone. So the session number 9 on skill development and employability, we have an eminent panel representing the various domains in this particular area, covering from the Chairperson of the National Council for Vocational and Training, representing AICTE's initiatives, Professor Poonia, Professor Raj Nehru, who is the Vice Chancellor of Vishwakarma Skill Development University, and a unique initiative on a university at the skill development area, and Professor Prem Kalra, Director of Dayalbagh University, which has done many initiatives over the last nearly 100 years in these areas. So we're covering the various domains, and we know we talk about the demographic dividend that we have, which we need to take advantage of. And if it, and we are in a situation where, as a country, we need to skill this young generation. We have the youngest population in the world, and at this, on one side, the other side, we hear of statistics that are put out saying only 20% of the people coming out are employable. Of course, most of the statistics are coming from the IT sector surveys that they're doing. But I don't think the numbers are very different from the other sectors, which requires skills in various domains, which the panelists are covering. And we also have these various initiatives of vocational training at the school level, at the universities level, whether it's in the UG, PG level, and the linkages between these entities which are involved in skill development with the universities and institutions of higher education. How do we create that linkages in terms of capacity building and so on? So these are the various issues we will be deliberating today. Given the limited time, I will straight plunge in, and I request Dr. Kalsi to give his remarks.
Namaskar. In line with the mandate of the NEP of integrating education and skilling, NCVET has taken a number of steps to align the National Skill Qualification Framework with National Higher Education Qualification Framework, the requirements of the higher education institutions, and the dynamic industry needs for skilling, reskilling, and upskilling, for integration of such qualifications into the UG, PG, and above level courses. The higher level skill qualifications, including future skills, employability skills, foreign language skills, etc., have been developed from the awarding bodies and the sector skill councils as per the requirements of various sectors of economy, including agriculture, industry, and the services sector. The concept of multi-skilling and cross-sectoral skilling, the national occupation standards, micro-credential-based skilling have also been implemented under NSQF. Now, AICTE has implemented the Skill Hub Initiative project, under which the NSQF-aligned skill qualifications are being offered in engineering colleges and polytechnics, including internships and project work. Now, for making our students future ready in this era of digitization and automation, more than 210 NSQF-aligned courses and qualifications are now available, including foundational skills for the UG and PG level in technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning, Internet of Things, robotics, 5G, mechatronics, cloud computing, blockchain, AR, VR, and extended reality technologies, cybersecurity, 3D printing, etc. Now, qualifications in emerging and futuristic disciplines such as drone technology, additive manufacturing, VLSI design, electronic system design, electronic vehicles, industrial Internet of Things have also been developed to drive the economy forward in manufacturing and services sector. Now, these skills are also in high demand in the international job market. So, therefore, they are very, very important for all our institutions. Now, under the National Education Alliance for Technology, that is NEET, NCVET is working along with AICTE for better learning outcomes by allowing the OEMs like Microsoft, Oracle, IBM, etc., the flexibility to align their high quality, high demand, industry-driven qualification and courses to the National Skill Qualification Framework, and now these can also be offered and creditized. So all these future skills qualifications are available for adoption to all the higher education institutions, and there's no need to reinvent the wheel, I suppose. The introduction of such new age skills will not only put us ahead of the curve, but inspire our youth to consider a career in such high demand, aspirational, futuristic skills. Now, a draft national credit framework has been jointly developed by UGC, AICTE, NCVET, and NCERT, integrating credits earned for academics, for vocational skills, as well as for relevant experiential learning. So this also includes the credits earned for internships, apprenticeships, project work, etc., for establishing equivalence and ensuring flexibility and mobility. Now, NCRF provides for assignment, accumulation, storage, transfer, and redemption of these credits. Now, NCRF also provides flexibility to students to choose their learning trajectories and programs with various career choices, including options for midway course correction and modifications as per the talent and interest. So I would request all the higher education institutions to kindly consider all these courses. The system is available, the framework is available, and you can choose the qualifications which have already been approved by the NCVET and adopt this qualification along with the other courses. Thank you so much.
Professor Poonia.
Good morning. Very important dimension of national education policy is the acceptance of our graduates. Not only in our country, across the globe, they should be able to move, they should be able to prove that we Indians are something different. Our core competencies, our team building abilities, our communication skills, our values, our sanskaras, our family systems. So across the globe, they should be able to compete, and they should be accepted, and they should be able to contribute in the development of whole globe. That type of environment, it has been imagined in national education policy, and very important dimension which we are discussing today, that is skilling of our students, of our youth, which is very large in populations. Roughly 50% of our population is less than 25 years of age. So foremost task is the hands-on capabilities of our students, that we are saying skills, their professional abilities, and finally connect to society, betterment of the society. That sort of dimensions it has to be. The biggest and the initiative which it has been taken, that connecting our schools with the higher education and finally to the industries, that is a complete building of a youth and with universal human values. Skilling, it has been started from schools itself. And our mechanism, which we people are doing with NCVET, that connecting our schools with skills means our AICTE approved program, technical programs, even from starting from class 8 itself. At the level of class 8, even they can go out for the purpose of taking skills. They can come back after 1 year, even they'll be having class 9 certificate also. So at every juncture, they'll be having 2 certificates. That is, one is school certificate, second one is skill certificate. And skilling, when we are saying, many a times industries was saying that your curriculum is not according to our requirement, the type of training which you are imparting, that is not according to our requirement. So what we are doing, we are connecting our students from class itself with the industries, with higher educational institutes, with engineering institutes, with our polytechnics, and that is skill up initiatives. So everywhere the type of atmosphere which is getting created, that is as per the needs of the industries, up to class 12th when they are coming. Even parallelly, they'll be moving, they'll be having a certificate of ITI, even they'll be having a certificate of undergraduate certificate they'll be having. And that option they'll be having, even for 2 years, they go into the industries, they can learn their core competencies can be improved, even they can know at ground what is needed, and they can come back, they can take admission in engineering courses. Continuously, they'll be moving up to level 6, that is BTech program. At level 5.5, if someone is exiting after 3rd year, it is BVOC program. And the biggest initiatives which we people at level of AICTE we have taken, that whole curriculum we have revamped, and according to the industry's requirement, we have done that one. And we said to the industries, please do become the part of ours. You sit with us, and the curriculum which has been changed, in that roughly 50% weightage we have given to hands-on part, the skilling part. So immediately when they are going out from our academic institutes, they should be able to deliver according to their needs. The skills hub which we are creating, our polytechnics, our engineering institutes, our ITIs, they are having enormous infrastructure. And that infrastructure, if we can connect with school students, certainly the opportunities for those children getting more experience, even our laboratories, physics lab, chemistry lab, our computational facilities, our libraries, our workshops are very, very strong. So school-going students, if they are entering in our skill hubs, their dream for becoming strong technical graduate, that dream also will be fulfilled. And in 2000, the skill hubs which we have created, in those skill hubs, around 2 lakh students it has been registered, and it is in self-financing mode. The quality of the training which will be imparted according to the students will be attracted, and many emerging areas, just like artificial intelligence, data sciences, cyber security, All sort of courses it has been connected, and main stress we are giving the overall development of the students, that is through induction program. Internship, it has become mandatory, and it is credits. This internship is having credits, and with internship, when students will be moving, actually they may be working in their institutes for internship, even at second year level, they can be connected to the people who are working on the roadside, repairing scooter, motorcycle, mobile like this one. So first year inside the institute, second year across the road, they'll be helping to our artisans also. Third year, actually, they are entering into the industries, and fourth year, we are saying, whatever they have learned, please do present in front of the society, connect yourself with the society, and your product should be useful for the betterment of the society. And finally, the employability, the acceptance of graduates will be quite high. Hope the initiatives which has been taken through this one, even in Gati Shakti, the smart logistic mechanism, some 75,000 students we are imparting training, and many of the teachers are also being trained. Thank you. Best wishes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for sticking to time. The next speaker is Professor Raj Nehru, Vice Chancellor of Vishwakarma Skill Development University.
Namaskar, dignitaries on the dais and respected dignitaries and academicians in the audience. As far as the national education policy is concerned and the targets that we have in the national education policy, envisaging 50% of GER for higher education and 50% of GER for skill-based education, where on skill education we are roughly around 7% or 8%. For higher education we are around 27-28%. It's a huge and daunting task in front of us. So as far as the skill education is concerned, today one of the biggest drivers that I find, besides what we have been talking in the last couple of days, which is also important, I think recognition of prior learning is one of the big game-changing initiatives that every institution must look at it. Today, if you look at the GER in higher education, we calculate it at 18 to 23 years of age. More than 140 million are the population in this age group. 35 million are enrolled in education if we go by the 27-28%. Where are the 105 million people today? That studies say that more than 50% of this 105 million are eligible. They are 12th pass or equivalent, but they are not in higher education. They have entered into the labor market. They are working for various organizations, uncertified, unqualified. This is a huge opportunity for India because most of these youngsters who work for the organizations, their ideas and talent gets trampled because they don't have qualification to move up in the organization. Sri Vishwakarma Skill University has started recognition of prior learning in higher education. We are working on pilot projects with some organizations where most of the qualifications that we have created in the university are getting mapped to some of the job roles in the industry. And through that process, what we do, we assess these youngsters who are working in the industries for long years, but without any qualification. So what we do, we assess them, and based on the assessment, we exempt them for some of the work that they have already done, which gets mapped with the qualifications, and then enroll them through a bridge program so that they can complete their higher education. This is a game-changing initiative, let me tell you, my friends, because once these people move up in the organization with higher qualification, which these organizations want to accept, they will actually be very ideative. They can create more opportunities in the organization. They can create more innovations in the organization. And eventually, when they will grow in the organization through those certifications, they can create more opportunities on the ground for newcomers to come and join the organization. So I think every university, every educational institution must focus on recognition of prior learning in higher education. It will help you in multiple ways. You see, when you have experienced people coming to your organization and mixing up with the youngsters already studying in the institution, you will have a mix, a diffusion of experience with the youngsters. It will create a mentoring mix inside your organization because these experienced people will actually enable your youngsters in the campus, and your youngsters in the campus can do reverse mentoring with them. And with that classical model, you can have innovation inside the campus. You can have industry people coming and mingling up and forcing your faculties to train them in a different way because they need a different type of pedagogy when they are to be trained. And eventually, it can create more opportunities for startups. So I again emphasize, recognition of prior learning in higher education is very, very important. Besides this, flexible entry and exit has to be thought in mind with the perspective that every exit level must be mapped with some qualification. Unless Exit levels are mapped with qualifications. The exit and entry, the flexible entry and exit will become meaningless. The third important thing is bringing the industry to your institution. And the last one is providing an integrated model of learning where from class 9th onwards, we are tying up with the technical education, higher education, industrial training department and other institutions where integrated education for skilling is provided to the students. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I request Professor Prem Kalra to give his intervention.
Dayalbagh Educational Institute Education Policy of 1975 actually enabled us to do skilling from maternity to eternity. Concept of selfless service, seva, which has been mentioned in this NEP 2020, I think nobody has ever addressed. There's an examples and illustrations. One can come to our university and see how that is happening. We offer PhD program in skilling through 360-degree transitions between skilling and mainstream education. This program has been in existence since 1981 because our mainstream education has one semester of skilling since then. Dayalbagh and UN goal of sustainability has become part of our skilling. We have entrepreneurial models based on nano enterprises. We call it Atma, Apparel and Toy Manufacturing Association. The students of this association export stuffed toys to Canada and US. We have Adinam, Agriculture, Dairy, Nano Manufacturing Unit, where the flavored milk is created and dairy is run fully by the students under these programs, and the flavored milk is exported to US. We have ARM, Automobile and Multi-Skill Karkhanas, where people actually provide services in 479 villages across the country. Once, like self-help groups out of these Atma, Adinam, and Aam Karkhanas have become a routine. We have given them a financial support to self-help groups. We stood the guarantee for these self-help groups to become the, self-employed. And today, in quite a bit in remote villages, the school uniforms are stitched by these self-help groups. We have 3 targets in skilling program. One is a value-added products, flavored milk, agroecology and sustainability. Agroecology producers are tested for their organic content because we do agroecology in form of organic form. Technology, we have ICT network serving to 479 villages. 3D printers, we are making 3D printers on campus. Water is being supplied by river filtration plant and healthcare devices, and we have 2 megawatt of solar, which provides the training platform for these students. DI Jugaad for students have been created to demonstrate and illustrate new products on campus so that they can come and actually demonstrate their innovations. You will not believe it. There are 70% girls in this, 80% weaker section students are there, 22% SC/ST, and most of them get employed even before they finish their BWOC program, and 80% plus employment takes place. So entrepreneurial exercise which we do is actually converts them from homo sapien to homo spirituals. So this is a different level of skilling. We have set up a target of feeding 11 billion people a lacto-vegetarian food via ultra-transcendental meditation plus agroecology by 2050, where more than 2 lakh such students will be participating and learning about the skilling in various facets of this. There are low-cost solutions which are available to show you and illustrate you NEP 2020 is fully implemented at DI. I'm happy to announce that, even though we were not the part of the case studies, but anybody can come and visit us at whenever they want without informing us, so that they see that whole thing, how the skilling, mainstream education, experiential learning, and how the weaker section and women are empowered through entrepreneurship and other activities on campus. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
धन्यवाद सर। समस्त विद्वत जन से अनुरोध है कि अपने छोटे प्रश्नों को पूछें और एक व्यक्ति सिर्फ एक प्रश्न को पूछे।
Yes.
Good morning. My name is Laviraj Gupta and I represent Lovely Professional University. See, we are talking about skilling of the students. Most of our faculty members are in the need of getting skilled because they translated themselves from educational system to another educational system. There's a need, that we need to send faculty members on sabbaticals. At Lovely Professional University, what we have done is that in past 3 years, rigorous sabbaticals, be it IT company, be it bioengineering companies, be it mechanical or electronics companies, because an individual who has not actually stood at the tool room level will not be able to bring that value, because he or she does not have that capability, or I'll not say capability, but the need of the hour for all of us is to look to the sabbatical of faculty members.
सजेशंस को बाद में नोट करके भी दिया जाए।
जी, प्रश्न मेरा ये है कि sabbatical के लिए कोई एक प्लेटफॉर्म बनाए, क्या हम एक प्लेटफॉर्म बना सकते हैं जिसमें sabbaticals अवेलेबल हों, इंडस्ट्री अपनी नीड दे और फैकल्टी उसमें पिच इन करे और पार्टिसिपेट करे, क्या ऐसा फ्रेमवर्क है?
I think Prof.
Yes. So one platform which it has been created by AICTE, it is in the name of intensive, where even teachers can register. Industries are offering their requirements that in these areas we are able to give. Some 50,000 industries are available. And as per our policy, teachers training policy, every teacher, particularly who is entering into teaching profession, they'll have to go for 1 month internship. It is mandatory even for getting that probation completed. It is there. Another program, teachers training program, which we are having, Atal teachers training program. In that case, 1 week theoretical training, online training will be imparting, but next week they'll have to go into real groundwork. They'll have to do with their hands whatever they have learned. So hands-on part of teachers also getting strengthened through these initiatives which we have taken.
Great initiative. Thank you
very much.
Sir,
yeah, good morning.
Add something to this.
Yeah, quickly.
See, there are co-op programs which at Dayalbagh Educational Institute we have it for 6 months. Students spend time in industry, and there their mentors actually start coming to university and start participating. So there is, I think, no shortage of people who can come and teach skilling. The only thing is right interfaces have to be created, as platforms have been created, as Dr. Poonia has suggested, and we have never faced a shortage of any faculty or skilling. As far as teaching and practice is concerned, you have to have, as Dr. Nehru also said, very good interface with industry. It works very well.
Yeah,
So my question is related
Just
to...
one second. Please put up your hand who is asking the question.
कृपया प्रश्न पूछिएगा, सजेशंस में।
सर, अभी तक जितनी बात हो रही है वो बीवोक से लेटरल एंट्री है नॉर्मल कोर्सेज की ओर, लेकिन हमारा एक बहुत बड़ा स्टूडेंट स्ट्रेंथ है जो रेगुलर कोर्सेज करता है, लाइक बीए, बीएससी, बीकॉम। और वो उनके जो इलेक्टिव कोर्सेज हैं, क्या हम कुछ ऐसा मॉडल डेवलप कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि एकेडमिक बैंक ऑफ क्रेडिट की बात हो रही है, तो वो अपने इलेक्टिव क्रेडिट्स स्किल कोर्सेज से अर्न करे, ताकि वो जैसे कि ग्रेजुएशन कर रहा है तो लेवल 4 का किसी एक कोर्स का उसके पास सर्टिफिकेट हो, मे बी लेवल 6 का किसी और कोर्स का सर्टिफिकेट हो, सो दैट उसकी डिग्री भी कंप्लीट हो और उसको स्किल कोर्सेज का सर्टिफिकेशन भी हो। या फिर हम जो नॉर्मल बीएससी कोर्स है उसका प्रैक्टिकल पार्ट है, मान लीजिए एक बच्चे को लैब में कितना रिक्वायरमेंट है उसका स्किल असेसमेंट हो गया है, तो सेक्टर स्किल काउंसिल्स आके कॉलेज में प्रैक्टिकल पार्ट असेस करें और उनको जो है सर्टिफिकेशन मिल जाए स्किल कोर्स का।
आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रही हैं। ये ऐसा ही प्रोविज़न जो है ये नेशनल क्रेडिट फ्रेमवर्क में किया गया है, जहां 25% तक क्रेडिट आप मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी या स्किल कोर्सेज पे ले सकती हैं हायर एजुकेशन में, और ये जो क्रेडिट्स आप लेंगी ये उसकी डिग्री के लिए काउंट होंगे। अभी हम लोगों ने कुछ आर्मी के लिए एक प्रोविज़न किया है जिसमें 50% जो क्रेडिट्स हैं वो हम स्किल से उठा रहे हैं, जो वो स्किलिंग ऑलरेडी करते हैं, और 50% इग्नू के साथ वर्कआउट कर रहे हैं। तो ये भी संभव है। तो इसलिए जो भी नॉर्मल एजुकेशन प्रोग्राम चल रहे हैं उसमें स्किलिंग का इंटीग्रेशन पॉसिबल है। यही जो नेशनल क्रेडिट फ्रेमवर्क का बेसिक ऑब्जेक्टिव है। तो आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रही हैं, ये संभव है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। यही मैंने बताया कि वो सारे कोर्सेज अवेलेबल हैं।
The transition from both sides are possible, and we are practicing that. From skilling to mainstream and mainstream coming back to skilling.
The back. No, 1 second, sir. Just 1 second.
जी नमस्कार, मैं शिव त्रिपाठी, आत्मीय विश्वविद्यालय राजकोट. The question is to Shri Raj Nehru ji. You mentioned about recognition of prior learning. Just I would like to learn that whether you would recommend it only for BVOC or MVOC program, or do you think that RPL can be created across the different qualifications that we offer?
Thank you, sir.
See, currently we have started experimenting it with the BVOC and MVOC qualifications, but I don't see any challenge for this program getting extended to any program. Why in BVOC we started with? Because in BVOC we have integrated qualifications, and these qualifications are progressive in nature in an hierarchical model that we have integrated, and based on the proficiency levels and industry agreeing to those proficiency levels for those qualifications, we have picked up BVOC. So 60, and the second important part is 60-40% ratio, where 60% is on-the-job training, the experience, and all those aspects, workshops, and 40% is theory. So that gives us a flexibility of picking and starting up with the BVOC. But if you ask me, there is no challenge that can even come for the non-BVOC programs as well.
Thank you, sir. Sir.
There was a question there. Yeah. Next year. Yeah. This question. Do you have the mic in the meantime? Can you get the mic to him, please?
दूसरा माइक यहाँ दिया जाए.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir. You go ahead in the meantime.
Yeah, I am Uday Kumar from NITK Surathkal. In this NEP 2020, the student evaluation process is more important. How far our teachers are being trained, rigorously trained? They have to be trained for a student evaluation and take the feedback of the students, final year and pre-final year students. This question is for Professor Poonia ji.
Sir, I think this will restrict the question to the skilling and the employability in this, because we had a session on that earlier. So I request that we give opportunity to others who are directly related to this.
This is Raj Kumar, Vice Chancellor of OP Jindal Global University. One of the challenges that we've had for many years in developing skills within our university system is that we've not seriously examined the concept of community colleges. If you look at United States and China and of course even parts of Europe, they have clearly recognized a new pathway for skills development and not only focused on a one-size-fits-all model of universities only advancing skills. So have we looked at community colleges more seriously, and most importantly, to what extent the interface of industry in community college could be valuable for advancing skills?
See, Canada has large number of community colleges, and fortunately we have MOUs with them. We have examined them in quite a bit detail of it. All right, and that's why I was talking of associate degrees. In even US, they have become very, very popular because university education there is very expensive. But here, fortunately, there are government support to a lot of universities where education is not that expensive, but associate degree concept can bring in candidates from community colleges and earn credits, go back to industry. But the major challenge which one needs to solve, which we have not done in skilling, is we are talking of students which are coming to university and how they get integrated with industry. But there's a large chunk, more than 100 times of those students who are actually in industry, they should be brought back to the university system. And if once we succeed in doing that, giving them associate degrees, giving them respect, social respect, which is most important for all of us, I think that will change the demography and the total dividends coming out of it in this country.
This is Dr. A.K. Tyagi from Kashi Vidyapeeth.
Just 1 second, sir. I think
this community college system, in fact, we brought around 10 years back, some 25 community colleges, best polytechnics of the country. They have given this community college provision, even funding we have done. They are working well. Another one, the Skill Up initiative which we are having. This Skill Up initiative is also part of that community college. Dropout students after 10th class, after 11th class, after 12th class, they can avail all sort of facilities which are available in technical institutes, which are available on higher educational institutes, and quality teachers are available, quality technicians are available. So all sort of facilities are available to them. So certainly it's the same concept which Canada is having.
Yeah, in fact, we are deliberating on the technical skills at length, and arrangements have been made. But I still feel that the traditional Indian skills, that is somehow been forgotten. We have a very good heritage of traditional skills. That emphasis should also be there, and we should have a strategy to monitor the development, to monitor and evaluate the competencies there also. These are, very beneficial in the sense that we hardly need any capital investment, and they are there on the blood of Indian already. So we need not to even popularize them. The only thing is that we have to give emphasis to them.
See, if you're talking of yoga and consciousness, okay.
Not only this.
No, I'm coming to that more traditional, but I'm talking to your third phase, which NEP has not covered, which is about the consciousness and spirituality, which can be non-denomination, irrespective of the religion. Those skill sets can also be nurtured, and they can be nurtured really well.
Yes, sir, this is there, but even pottery, dance, culture, and all these things are also there. There should be a strategy to evaluate the competencies in those skills also. That is missing.
Sir, कृपया एक ही प्रश्न.
Please go ahead.
ये हेरिटेज जो सेक्टर स्किल काउंसिल है, ये बहुत काम करती है इसके ऊपर. और हेरिटेज के ऊपर हम लोग जो मास्टर्स है, पुराने क्राफ्टमैन हैं, उनको हम लेकर के आते हैं, उनका आरपीएल करते हैं, उनका आरपीएल करके और वो उनसे क्वालिफिकेशंस फिर बनवाते हैं. और ये बहुत अच्छा काम हो रहा है. अभी हमने एक और नया इनिशिएटिव शुरू करने की हम लोग सोच रहे हैं कि जो कोई अवार्ड विनर है, हमारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो बिल्कुल ही अनपढ़ हैं, ऐसे गुरुओं को ढूंढ करके और उनको आरपीएल करके एक दर्जा दे करके उनके द्वारा जो भी स्टूडेंट को वो सर्टिफाई कर दें, उसको हम एनएसक्यूएफ लेवल की स्किल सर्टिफिकेट उसको दे दें. तो इसके पीछे हम लोग लगे हुए हैं और बहुत सारी स्किल्स अवेलेबल हैं. आप एनसीवीटी वेबसाइट पर जाइए, इसको बिल्कुल इग्नोर नहीं किया जा रहा.
I just want to add just one point.
I'll
just add one point to it. In Haryana, Shri Vishwakarma Skill University has developed a scheme called Guru Shishya Parampara for Government of Haryana, which has been announced just 2 weeks back. In this scheme, in Haryana, the target is to recognize the existing gurus, means experienced people, artisans, and through a process of recognition of prior learning, we will certify them. After certification, out of those certified pool, we will identify some artisans or some experts and make them teachers and mentors. And then through a portal, Parivar Pehchan Patra, we will identify youngsters who are 8th pass, 10th pass, who have interest in doing or learning that skill. We will map those to youngsters with those mentors and run this Guru Shishya Parampara. Through this process, apprenticeship and RPL, both are getting integrated and providing opportunity of learning and preserving traditional skills in the state.
Sir, I have a question. This is Professor W.C. Singh. I am Registrar, Manipur University. In fact, we talk about a community college. In Manipur University also, we have a community college. But however, since last year, community college funding has been clubbed to the central pool. And again, UGC issued a letter a few years ago all about the establishment of vocational Department of Vocational Studies and Skill Development. And in a place like Manipur, where industry is not there. The question is, when UGC is withdrawing investment and the funding for the community college, on the other hand, we talk about the emphasis on community college. We have a clear-cut, say what we call as a guideline, whether we will continue with the community college or shall we club these community colleges to the Department of Vocational Studies and Skill Development?
Thank you,
Thank you. So I think this is a point for UGC to look into, and they will
Yes.
address it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sir,
Thank you.
I think.
Should I go?
सर हमारे
No, I
पास
think-
अब
sorry,
समय
sir.
Very
अभाव के
brief,
कारण
only one sentence.
Okay.
Because with due respect to Prem Kalra ji, I think NEP 2020 is a comprehensive document and we need to read it properly. There is all possibility of introducing spirituality courses in NEP, and we have already introduced at Guru Ghasidas Vishwavidyalaya yoga as a credit program, credit course, and we are offering it. So we need to understand. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
धन्यवाद सर। हम अध्यक्ष महोदय से अनुरोध करते हैं कि इस सत्र के समापन के पूर्व अपने अध्यक्षीय भाषण से अपने विचार को प्रस्तुत करें। थैंक यू।
Namaskar. So thank you very much. We had excellent presentations from all the four panelists, covered the various facets with respect to skilling and employability. I will just add, I will not repeat what they said, but add some aspects to this from my experience. I'm basically a professor of civil engineering, but work in the area of construction project management. So I work, one of my areas of research is studying construction, labor, and related issues. So I have some insight into this issue. Also work with the Parfi Pan-IIT Reach India Foundation, where we run about 30 gurukuls in Jharkhand on skilling. One of the very successful program which is now getting replicated in Madhya Pradesh. I happen to be a board member there. Now, one of the things that from a country perspective which has been touched on, I think by Professor Kalra, is on this vocational skilling, is making it aspirational, right? It is that a person who comes out with vocational skills is treated in the society with the same respect as a person who is coming with a degree. Now, I think this is where the challenge is that we have, that we need to address. There's no reason why a very skilled person cannot get as high a salary as one of the top managers, which I see happens in Europe, happens in some, especially in Europe. And that doesn't happen in our country. Now, one of the big challenges, I think our ITIs and our polytechnics, which are to be addressing this sector. I'm not touching on the skills that the universities do, is I think we have not given it adequate attention and adequate muscle or adequate support in attracting people to this. Just to give you a quick statistic, which I had some data from a few years back in Tamil Nadu. There are 200 plus engineering seats, more than 2 lakh engineering seats, 2,20,000, 2,30,000. Polytechnics, they have about 90,000 seats. ITIs, they have 55,000 seats or so, right? So the number of engineers we are producing, and compared to the ITIs, now if an industry is working and using its manpower effectively, let me take a shop floor of a factory or a construction site. If an engineer is doing his or her job, right, which is mainly design and planning, and if they're doing, they're being used for that, they should be supervising 3 to 4 foremen or supervisors, right, working under them. That means I should be producing, and these people are people coming from polytechnics, and we should be producing 3 times more polytechnic people than the engineers we are producing. And a polytechnic person probably supervises about 8 to 10 skilled persons, right? So we have a completely inverted pyramid on the way we are developing our manpower and so on, which is reflected in our weakness in manufacturing and so on. So I think we need to re-look at this whole framework and how we are, and most importantly is, another thing we find, people doing polytechnic, 80 to 90% of them try to get in engineering through lateral entry, right? So we are just losing all the people whom we are training for this. So most important thing is to make it aspirational and so on. And a lot of other issues have been touched on, and in the interest of time, I will stop here. And one more thing is, one final point is that was brought out, is bringing this occasional training or exposure at the school level? How do we create linkages between the schools and the ITIs and polytechnics where the kids can go and use the facilities created there? And then how to create the linkages between these polytechnics and ITIs with the engineering and other higher educational institutions. For some of the advanced tools and techniques to be used, they could use the facilities there. I think that is another line that we need to clearly work out and use our resources effectively. So for that purpose, this platform has been great to meet people here. For example, I'm talking to Kalsi Saab, then I'm talking to Mr. Tiwari to create, asking them to come down to Tirupati, for example, and talk to the polytechnics there, ITIs, and see how we all can work together and create these linkages. Thank you very much. I think it was a great session.
Thank you, sir.